experienced it in the correct way to say stuff like that. And let's be honest with you, when you strip anywhere back, buildings, what is left? There you're saying it's Dubai sand. What would be left in the UK? Mud and shitty water and shitty weather. But when you build it all back up, what are you left with? Well, I'll tell you what you're left with in Dubai. The best streets, the best buildings, the best roads, the safest place to be, the best environment for doing businesses and entrepreneurs. And in the UK, what have you got? Shitty. I can't even drive my Lamborghini Aventador down the road because the roads are so fucked. And we can't even vote the shitty politicians in because they cancel elections. That's dictatorship at its worst, cancelling elections. But people like this don't realise that. And the last but not least point on this, and this is the biggest issue I have when people slate it, they talk about modern day slavery. Now, you need to compare apples for apples. When you're talking about, and workers do die, don't get me wrong, workers do die. But when you go through a building cycle that Dubai has been through the last 20, 25 years, you're talking about thousands of new developments, millions of new homes, millions of new people walking in to live there. You're going to have a higher rate of workers and workers having accidents. It's as simple as that. You have less where there's less building or less growth. So you're not comparing apples for apples, my friend. But let's be honest with you. If you were looking at the hard facts and the numbers for the real world, if you were a true business entrepreneur person, which you're clearly not, you would have a grasp on these types of angles and logics, which you don't have. But here's the big thing. I rent to students, I rent to workers, I rent to low paid workers, I rent to foreign nationals. And I talk to them when I'm in Dubai. And people in Dubai earn about a quarter of what the minimum wage is in the UK as a service-based individual. Taxi drivers, cleaners, waiters, bar staff, that sort of stuff. But they choose to go to Dubai. And here's why. One, it's tax-free, so they earn, but they get to keep what they earn. They can live in a much more efficient way. Here, there's too much legislation. There's too much overcomplication, whereas you can't have people sharing rooms for long-term living. In Dubai, part of their culture is that they're happy to live with 3, 4, 5 people in one room. Well, you're not allowed to do that in the UK. So they can live much cheaper. And it's easier. It's easier for them to get a job. And the job that they have, it's more sustainable. They're not impacted by changes of government, changes of taxation, and changes which has a ripple effect on markets, which causes people to get rid of stuff in the UK. So, unfortunately, I looked at your profile, you do a bit of traveling, but let's be honest with you, you haven't got a fucking clue.